Hey, what's up? I'm Marty Yang, creator of the Lucky Brain podcast. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you're enjoying the content, please hit the like button and also subscribe to my channel. Thanks so much. Hope you enjoy. Dude, all right, so we're starting. Boris, thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate it, bro.
Yeah, man.
So I wanted to have you in here because for one, I find entrepreneurs interesting.
Yeah.
People have that entrepreneurial spirit interesting. And then you're a dude that we've met up before.
Yeah. We went to high school.
We went to high school.
We didn't really talk much.
No.
You
We
know?
did play ball together though.
Yeah.
But still, we didn't talk that much. You guys had like your friends. I was a grade older than you.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
06.
yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I wish I probably would have knew you.
It's cool, man. The
more
stars
in high
lined up
school.
now, and
Exactly.
look at it. We're here now.
Exactly. So it's been quite a while since high school.
Yeah.
Since the journey from then and like all this happening during COVID and
Yeah.
stuff, like what's been up with you, man? What's new? What's the latest and greatest with Boris?
You know, I think 2020 has definitely shaped me for definitely for the future. You know, I thought going into 2020, you know, I didn't really have much together, I guess. Like I thought I had things aligned, but when, you know, the pandemic hit, it was just kind of tough, right? Things are all up in the air, people freaking out, right? I was like, man, you know, and so I was running a marketing company. I still am. And like all my clients were freaking out. I was like, oh geez, you know, what do I do? But I think it's the biggest year of my life so far because, you know, I moved out, right? Moved out, you know, got a cool gig that I'm doing now. And so it's just, yeah, it's cool. It's cool. It really shows you how to adult and prepare for the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. In
This
a
year
sense.
has been, I mean, it's crazy for everybody, right?
Yeah.
It's, I mean, I don't know what's the percentage of people who've like gotten laid off.
Yeah.
But it's like a tremendous amount of people.
Yeah.
And then I think Walt Disney
Yeah.
is supposed to lay off like another 28,000 people or something like that.
Like
Like
coming
in
up.
the next, like in the next month or something along those lines. I read that somewhere. It could have been some bullshit, but you know how it is these days. But that's what I read. And so 2020, I think, has been like probably the most interesting year of my life.
Yeah.
Because
You really get to like reflect and really think about like, dang, you know?
Exactly. It's like a self-check. Like,
Yeah, I really didn't have things together type thing, you know?
Yeah. And, you know, did anybody in your family experience COVID?
No, luckily, you know, knock on wood. You know, luckily, I think, you know, we're all healthy and safe.
Good.
And so I think it's just, you know, I think mentally, everything, you have to get used to everything, right? Like staying home, right?
Yeah. Or like not shaking somebody's hand.
Yeah. And you feel weird, like kind of hugging.
Oh man, it's so weird.
Yeah.
It's like, do you got COVID?
Yeah, I love you, but hey, like, you know, I'll say hi from a distance.
Exactly. Yeah. A couple of my family members had caught it, and
Oh, really?
yeah, and it didn't like put them out like too serious, but you know, it's just almost like the stigma attached to it. If you catch COVID, it's almost like you caught a disease or something like that.
Right. You get looked at like, damn, like you
Exactly.
had COVID, huh?
You had COVID, like back away, sort of thing, and rightfully so, because it's such a scary disease, because not many people knew and still really don't know much about it.
Right.
Is it gonna come back in a second wave?
Right.
I mean, it just kind of swept the globe.
Yeah.
And people
now
were
this is the new normal, right? We have to sit 6 feet apart. You got to wear masks. You know, you got to like elbow bump each other, right? Like the dudes or the people you used to hug, when you dap them up, it's like you can't.
It's so different.
Yeah.
So adjusting to the new norms has been, I mean, it's been for me like a gradual process. It wasn't anything too shocking.
Yeah.
But it's still very, very.
How's your family doing now, by the way?
Good. Yeah, everybody's good. Everybody's back healthy, testing negative for the virus, and everybody's back. But
good, man.
For a while, it's just like, wow, I can't believe this shit is happening right now. And especially during an election year.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like double whammy.
Yeah.
And you know, I mean, the beautiful thing about this podcast, it could go everywhere. And like one of the things that you were saying about like sitting 6 feet apart, I had somebody on, his name was Chris Diaz, and he was talking about conspiracies. And then somebody else had mentioned this to me about like why the 6 feet apart. Is it just because that's a safe distance for like not to catch COVID? But it's interesting because, you know, our phones are like tracking us quite often throughout the day. And somebody brought up something that made sense to me, is that if people are too close, your phone really can't pinpoint you, but 6 feet apart, the phones are able to identify.
Really?
Yeah. And I was like, that kind of makes sense, because your phone's always tracking you, whether it's through your like GPS or, you know, some of your apps for your location or whatever. And if you stand 6 feet apart, that kind of made sense to me, that whoever's tracking you would know that you're Boris, you're right there, and I'm Marty, I'm right here. But if we were like sitting super close, it would be kind of convoluted, and then you add some more people, they really couldn't tell. And so if you're talking about conspiracies, I'm like, all right, that seems feasible.
Dude, you're reading too much Reddit, man.
You know what, I don't even log into Reddit.
Really?
I already read it very much, but I hear it's fucking dope. I hear there's like a bunch of shit that you could just like get lost in. What is it? What is Reddit?
So Reddit is it's like just this media page on the internet, right? And it has different threads and subthreads. And so some of the threads that I really get lost in is entrepreneurship, side hustle stuff, right? Self-improvement stuff like that. And people just really share their experiences. And you could really tell the ones that are fake and real, right? Some people where they share an experience, and it's, you know, 3, 4, 5 paragraphs long, and then it has like 100, 200, 300 comments, right? Because people are just like, dang,
engaged.
yo, like I want to share my thoughts on it, right? And you have some where it's just like 2 comments. So you can kind of tell, you know, what's authentic and what's not. But no, it's cool. And it has threads and subthreads for literally anything you want. Yoga, comedy, you know, travel, like everything, you know.
That's pretty amazing.
You gotta check it out, man.
So is it mainly text?
Yeah, it's all text. It's all text. Yeah. It has its own app. You can download that. So add that on your action items list.
Definitely something I'm interested in, because I've heard about it through a podcast, one of Joe's podcasts, when he was doing a podcast with Nikki Glazer.
Okay.
Do you know who she is? She's a stand-up comic. She's a comedian.
Probably by face.
But she was talking about the type of porn that she likes, and she's saying that there's like a whole like Reddit sub thread or something.
There probably
like
is,
this.
Man. There probably is.
Yeah. So I was like, that seems interesting.
Yeah. And their slogan is the front page of the internet, and it really is.
Wow.
It really is.
Just like headline shit.
It's a bunch of everything, man. A bunch of everything.
Gotta check that out. So when you're looking at the entrepreneur stuff, like what engages you most? Like what is it, just like the mindset that these entrepreneurs, is it the experiences that they put out? Like what catches your attention the most?
So there's something called AMA, which is ask me anything. And pretty much it goes like, you know, hey, I'm an entrepreneur, or I'm a business owner of like $100 million a year podcast, ask me anything. And people just go in, right? Questions like, how'd you start? You know, what type of failures have you experienced? Stuff like, right. And like people just answer it, right? And they're straight up because, you know, they're like, hey, this is my Instagram. If you don't, you know, just to show you that I'm a real person, right? And there's one called like Entrepreneur Ride Along. And it pretty much, people just kind of, you know, share their experiences of their failures, their growths, you know, the challenges they've dealt with. And some of the stuff, they drop little golden nuggets of just like, you can pick it up yourself and be like, dang, you know, I'm going through this right now. I went through this before. I think I'm about to go through this, but this guy's just sharing so much knowledge that cool. Like we should probably go this route then. Right. So it just helps put some context on, you know, the type of direction you're going in. I feel
Wonderful.
like, you know,
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Cool, man. So, is that like, when you're looking at the text, is there a way to reach out to these people, like a DM sort of thing?
Yeah. You can private message these people. See, I see it churning, right, dude? Yeah. You can reach out to them for your podcast.
Interesting,
you know?
to ask some people.
Yeah. I've connected with some people through Reddit like messaging, just to like network, right? Like, oh, hey, I found your story interesting. You know, what caused you to do X, Y, and Z? And they should be like, hey, what's up, man? You know, like, and most of the time they're pretty nice, right?
Yeah.
Like you can kind of tell who's authentic and who's not.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
That's something that the way that I get my guests is mainly through Instagram.
Instagram?
Yeah, so I'll just
That's
DM.
a cool way too. You shoot a DM.
Yeah, shoot
right?
a DM through Instagram. I think that for me is like I found people the most interesting
Yeah.
on Instagram,
Yeah.
and I can sort of get a like feel for who they are through their page.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about starting a podcast?
Man, you're the second person who's asked me that.
I feel like you would be good. I don't know why.
Maybe in the future, man. You know, like, you know, because I think people consume so much information, video, text, audio, right? Just different ways. Maybe in the future I could, you know, share my experiences, my knowledge, stuff like that.
You know, it's interesting because so many people have a podcast, so it's like the market's flooded.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, it's super saturated already.
Yeah.
But like we were talking about before, the idea for me, the ideal thing would be to attract sponsorships, and in order to do that, I would have to have a large audience base, and so that my audience base would be able to like see some fucking ads or some bullshit or whatever, the sponsorships, and I'd get paid to do that. But even if this podcast didn't bear fruit, any money, anything at all, we're talking about this as a passion project for me. And so it was something that I'm super interested in, and I can see myself doing this through the long haul.
Yeah.
And it's exciting for me. And I think talking to people like yourself, like entrepreneurs especially, they're like passionate about things. They want to go after things.
Right.
You had a young mindset, an entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah.
What, like, were you always like that, or did something kind of click in your mind to then make you want to start your own business?
Man, that's a good question. I think it like started like in elementary school when I was like fundraising, like, you know, for like trips and stuff like that, right?
Selling chocolates?
Yeah. And then so I was fundraising, and then like I was like, this is kind of interesting, right? Like, and so just kind of really grasping what the world has to offer, right? Hey, you can kind of be like, you know, an employee, or you can kind of take control of your destiny in a sense and try and, you know, do it yourself, right?
Right.
And I've always taken to that, right? In a sense where it's like, you know, if you can control the time that you spend with your family and, you know, all that stuff, control your income by the efforts you put into your job. But yeah, it started at a young age. You know, I started like, I would go to Costco and buy like the big packs of chocolate and just, dude, I would go door to door and slang it, right? Yeah. So if I broke it down to like each chocolate bar was $1, I'd knock on the door and be like, hey, I'm just trying to raise money for like my basketball, whatever, right? And it'd be like, cool, how much? I'd be like, oh, $2, right?
Right.
And I'd double my my income in just like an afternoon.
Yeah. That's interesting. Once you get like I've talked to several entrepreneurs, and they say, you know, once you get a feel of like making money, even if it's just that extra dollar that you made, it like almost hits a switch in your brain, like, holy shit, this is amazing. So,
like, hey, I just did something, you know, like something clicked.
That's interesting. And so, you know, you transitioned that from Santa Anita Mall. You had a kiosk at the mall. What is a process like in order to, like, who do you have to go through in order to like get a kiosk? This might be for a question for people who might be thinking of doing something.
Yeah. So it was like my freshman year of college where I was just like, man, you know, I really want to start something up. And I think at that time, my buddy was like manufacturing recycled backpacks that were made out of recycled products, right? Eco-friendly and all that stuff. I was like, you know, people might like it, whatever. And so I went to mall management with a buddy of mine who essentially were partners. And then I was like, hey, this is what we want to do. How much is a kiosk, right? Because we did it for 3 months, November, December, and January. Dude, their initial asking price for rent was $8,000 a month.
For the kiosk.
For a small kiosk, right? And then we didn't get it. We're like, 8,000, geez, that's like, it's like a mansion's like rent, right? Or mortgage or something like that. It's like 2 or 3 mortgages. And so we were able to negotiate it down to like, I think it was like $4,000 a month. But long story short, I mean, we broke even. And after the 3 months, but boy, was it an experience. It was a learning process in itself, you know? Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
It's interesting because the retail space, rents are going way down. way
now. Because no one wants to.
Amazon's just swooping up all the business. E-commerce is the new way to go. And people understand that and realize that. So that's kind of an interesting, you know, within a decade. I mean, space that you're renting
Yeah.
was initially priced for $8,000.
Yeah.
You got a great deal, $4,000.
A great deal.
A great deal, $4,000
Yeah,
for
yeah.
this little space.
Yeah.
But now I would be interested to see like what are the prices for a kiosk space. Now I'd probably say they're probably like 2,000 or maybe even 1,000.
Maybe.
Especially after COVID, you know.
And I asked the mall manager, I was like, yo, why is this so much money? And she's like, the foot traffic is what we're like banking on, right? Is what you're paying for. And yeah, it was really busy. It was really busy. So, you know, especially during the holidays, right?
Yeah.
Black Friday, Christmas, New Year's, it's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you transition that into city menu.
Yeah.
What is the thought process like when you were starting that?
With City Menu?
Yeah.
It was actually a buddy of mine. He was just like, hey, you know, he was also a basketball player. And, you know, when we were at the basketball team, or we played basketball in high school, we had to fundraise like beef jerkies and whatever. And he was just like, hey, what if we just like sold this card and it was good to like hundreds of restaurants within like a certain geographic area, and people would buy the card for $20 and they can use it all year long for as unlimited times, right? And so I was like, yeah, I think this is kind of a cool idea.
Yeah.
So we started it up, and then like after like I don't know 2 years, we had about 150 restaurants.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So how do you get the like restaurants to go into business with like city menu?
City Menu, yeah. So
You go to the owners.
Yeah, so I would call them and be like, hey, my name is Boris. Do you want some like I offered it to them for free. I was like, hey, do you want free advertising? What's the catch? I was like, there's no catch. Like, I play basketball for blah, blah, blah school. I have this many card holders. Do you just want to be on it and offer like, you know, a small discount, right? To kind of give back to your community. Yeah, because essentially we're bringing them the customer, right, that they didn't have to begin with, right? Or maybe have never heard of their business before.
Yeah.
And then I offered it to restaurants for free. And so that was like my way in, and that's how we grew so quickly. And then on the other end of the business, yeah, we would sell it to like, I would partner with schools and organizations, right? Like churches, basketball teams, travel teams, whatever. And they needed to raise money for their trips. So they were like, all right, cool. You know, we'll get 100 cards and we'll sell, you know, 5 each.
Yeah.
And we would just like, I tiered it. So it's like, you know, when they would sell X, we would split it Y. And so it's like, that was like my sales team.
Yeah.
In a sense. So it was pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so fascinating.
Yeah.
Who are some of the people you look up to right now in terms of business, in terms of entrepreneurship? Is there anybody that's, I guess, on social media or anybody on Reddit that is specific to you? Or is it just...
Yeah. I would say, Randall Pitch is one. You know, yeah. Randall Pitch, yeah. CEO of Live Fit.
Live Fit.
Yeah, rather. Yeah. You know, he shares his journey and stuff like that. He's pretty transparent the way he grew and just hustling.
Yeah. He's definitely interesting. I like his swag too. He's like, you know, he's built.
Yeah.
He's young.
Yeah. Family man.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So, you know, he got his health, he got his family, he's got his business, he skates.
Yeah.
You know, he kickboxes and things like that. And he's also he's Khmer.
Yeah.
So I was definitely...
You're Cambodian, right?
That's correct.
Yeah. See? So
he's definitely somebody to look up to, and he's always like, you know, just the way that he puts his production together. I'm like, I love looking at that.
It's crazy.
It gives me inspiration.
Yeah, for sure. And I think one of the things that I really look up to him for is like he shares like the failures too, right? Like, and it's pretty cool. So it's he's just one of many. You know, I have a couple YouTubers that I look up to, right?
Yeah.
So it's
I
cool.
first got notice of him, Rando. His name is Pitch or Pick?
I think it's Pitch.
Pitch.
Yeah.
Rando Pitch.
Yeah.
I first got notice of him on Ed Milet's podcast.
Yeah, there you go. Ed Milet, yeah.
Yeah, that's how I got notice of him.
Yeah.
And he was like very young, and I'm like, he's talking to Ed Milet, who's worth like fucking $500 million or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And Ed Milet is interviewing Randall Pitch.
Yeah.
I'm like, this guy's young as fuck. What does he do?
Right.
He looks like a bad motherfucker.
Right.
You know,
tattoos on the neck, tattoos on the head. You know?
Yeah.
What does he do? I want to do what he's doing, right?
It looks so cool, you know?
Yeah.
And also too, like the entrepreneurship, Steve Jobs said this. He's like, you know, like in order to be an entrepreneur, like you have to be like really love what you do. It sounds cliche, but because it's so hard, then the challenges that you're going to experience are going to be difficult and just like fucking life draining. you've got to see, hey, what are we doing here? Like, what's the purpose? Like, you know, I love this, so I'm gonna fucking keep on doing it anyway.
Right.
No matter what challenges come, we'll figure it out.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah, and that's what entrepreneurship is, right?
Yeah.
And being a business owner is like, there's no real roadmap, right? And Steve Jobs also said you can't connect the dots moving forward. You can only connect it looking back. Right. And you can only put your past experiences together, whether it be life, personal, business, or whatever, and kind of that's what helps shapes you moving forward, right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
that makes total sense, dude.
Yeah.
So, one of the things about the age that we live in is the access to information, like you were talking about. It's wonderful, man. There's so many people that we can learn from, and almost like, hey, you know, this person messed up or this person's going through this. What's the failure and what's the lesson of these experiences?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's quite amazing thing.
Right.
Let's transition into basketball, man. Have you been playing any ball lately?
Dude, no, you know, I haven't. You know, since COVID hit, all the gyms closed, right? I mean, out in like La Puente, you know, there's a couple gyms, private gyms that are open.
Yeah.
That still host like runs, but I mean, I don't know, man.
It's so crazy. I mean, is this the new norm now? Are we not going to go to gyms? Are we not going to play basketball? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Basketball, you got to get like you got to get up on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Like you breathe in on some other.
You're breathing on like another dude, like face to face. You're probably maybe like depends on how you play D or whatever, or how you play offense. But, like, what do you think moving forward? How is basketball going to happen? Is it going to happen?
I mean, you know, you see the NBA bubble, right? Like they're taking extreme precautions, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like if they're going the distance to just make sure their athletes are you know, safe, you know, why should we risk as normal human being, you know, people who make an average salary, right? These guys are getting paid millions, right? And so like, yeah, I don't know what the future holds, right? You know, there's a guy who hosts private gyms and where he rents out the gym to me sometimes, right, for like private lessons or whatever. I've been hitting him up, man, for like weeks. I'm like, hey, like, you know, I think COVID's dying down. Can I come in and just shoot around, right? He has a shooting machine that rebounds for you and it shoots the ball back, and I rent it from him hourly, and he's just like, sorry, man, I can't. Wow. Yeah. So, but I mean, I picked up golf. So.
Did you?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Golf's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
It's very difficult. It's like one of the most challenging things to be good at. Basketball, I mean, it's like not very complicated.
Sure.
You shoot the fucking ball into the hoop.
Yeah.
With golf, oh my God.
Yeah.
It's the same concept. You put the ball into the hole.
Yeah.
But there's so many challenges.
So many mechanics that go into it, right?
So many mechanics, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, but what I enjoy about golf is the camaraderie.
Yeah. Do you play?
Yes.
You play?
Yes.
Oh, we should hit.
I'm down.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm totally down.
Yeah.
The camaraderie that you get from that experience, and also too, like you're walking on the greens and shit, and like the trees.
Yeah.
So, like it's very like you feel like you're in nature.
Yeah.
And it's very calming.
I think that's what really kind of got me into it too, is like my buddies got into it, and I would go to the driving range, and you know, I think before, like, my mechanics sucked, right? I'm not saying I'm good now, but like, you know, you start watching a couple of YouTube tutorials and stuff, and you start making contact with the ball when you're driving it now, and you're like, dang, I could actually do this, right? So you go to the driving range for a couple hours, right? Hit a couple hundred balls, whatever. But yeah, and then you move that over to the actual course, right? And it's totally different. Totally different, right?
Because the pressure's there.
Yeah. Dude, I was at the driving range the other night, like smacking these balls, right? And then after that, like, you go to the course, you're like missing everything.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So
it's definitely that extra added sense of pressure. Like,
sure.
Okay, I need to not hit this ball far right or far left.
Yeah.
I need to hit it like good distance, and I need to hit it straight.
Yeah.
How
long have you been playing?
You know, I used to play in high school.
Really?
Yeah, I was on the golf team my junior year. I didn't play and compete.
Okay.
It's just I had golf theory, so I was technically on the golf
theory.
the golf team.
Yeah. That's like sixth period, right? With like
sixth period.
Yeah.
I just fuck around. Me and my boy Joey. Did you ever meet Joey? You know Joey Alba? He
Probably by face. Probably by face.
Yeah. Shout out to Joey if you're watching this.
What's up, Joey?
But yeah, I wasn't playing consistently at all, and I still don't. But that's kind of when I started to play.
Yeah.
How about yourself?
I mean, I just picked up a set of used clubs from my buddy. Shout out to Kevin for getting me into golf. So I bought a set off him just like last week. And so I probably picked it up maybe like, I don't know, 2 months ago.
Okay.
Right. Going to the range every other week, something like that. Right. I don't live too far from the Pacific Palms in the City of Industry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I live in West Covina. So it's like, 5 to 7 minute drive.
Yeah,
we should go, dude. We should go.
I'm down.
Chop it up.
Let's set something up.
Yeah.
Cool, dude. So we're at 25 minutes right now. We'll get a couple more minutes in, I guess, and just finish this up. But like when you're going through your journey as an entrepreneur, what are some of the lessons that you would maybe like to share with
my younger self?
Your
maybe?
Younger self. Yeah, that's a great question.
I think, I think one of the things I would tell myself, just generally, right, general information, is just to be patient, right? I think it's just harps on everything that you do, right? Whether it's like business or personal or whatever, like you said, right? If the passion's there, like the money will follow. And I didn't really understand that, as a young guy, growing up. I was raised in a household where it's like, all right, you got to go to college, and then you have to get your degree, go get a good job. But then like I was also surrounded by like friends who were just making money at the time, right? Hustling, whatever they were doing, right? Whether slinging this or flipping that, right? You're just like quick money. But that quick money and that adrenaline and that like high, it dies down quick. Right. So I think I would share it to any aspiring entrepreneur or business owner or whatever. Right. Like just to be patient and just to enjoy the journey, because the money will come. The money will come when the passion and the love for what you're doing is there. Right. And like so many people nowadays are quick to give up. Right. After like that thing that they're doing doesn't bear any fruit after like couple weeks. Right, weeks. That's how impatient we are, right? And we get caught up in the world of social media, right? We see all these people with these Lambos and Ferraris and stuff like that. Half the stuff online is rented anyway. It's not even real.
It's like, fuck the Lambos and Ferraris. I just want some likes. God damn it.
Right. And so, yeah, man, I think that's just kind of just the one thing that I would really just harp on is patience and patience and focus. Right, patience and focus. Yeah. So.
Thanks for that, Boris. We'll end on that.
Yeah.
Short and sweet, bro. Thank you so much.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, what's up? I'm Marty Yang, creator of the Lucky Brain Podcast. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you're enjoying the content, please hit the like button and also subscribe to my channel. Thanks so much. Hope you enjoy.